Somalia first.
Happy Easter.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this one. It seemed like Ilhan Omar just got even more bad news, which is good news for us, because now she's lashing out after JD Vance delivered her some devastating news and saying that the DOJ right now is building a case against her because she did commit immigration fraud, and we all knew that. We were just waiting on JD and Vance them to see it. We already knew she married her brother. She been stealing money. The person she was working with to feed our children program they had going on, the person that went to jail for that, he admitted that it was fraud, that it was fake, and Ilhan Omar was there working for him. And not only that, you got a small Somali community now telling President Trump to go ahead and extradite her to them. Like, they would take Ilhan Omar right off the United States of America's hands. They said they just waiting on President Trump to say the word. We got to get into this. So like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you because y'all definitely help get the video out there. So I do want to say I appreciate all of you for that. Let's start off with this clip right here.
Well, while Democrats fail to protect innocent Americans, they were busy using yesterday's protests to trash President Trump.
Donald Trump just has not chipped away at our democracy. He has taken a wrecking ball to the very foundation of what makes America great. We have an administration that is openly and brazenly breaking the law and is acting like the Constitution is optional. And while they are doing that, they are shamefully and blatantly lying about every single thing they are doing.
But according to Vice President JD Vance, it's Omar who's doing the lying. Vance said that this week that he thinks Omar definitely committed immigration fraud and is now looking to build a case against her. A spokesperson for Omar called the accusation, quote, ridiculous lie. But the tiny African nation of Somaliland, different than Somalia, is ready to help and is calling for Omar to be extradited to them. I say, look.
She said, let's do it. So listen to this last part right here. Listen to this last part. This African nation say, hey, we are ready for President Trump to just say the word and we would take Ilhan Omar right off y'all hands.
For Omar called the accusation, quote, ridiculous lie. But the tiny African nation of Somaliland, different than Somalia, is ready to help and is calling for Omar to be extradited to them.
Calling for Omar to be extradited to them. They say they are waiting. All they got to do is just say the word. Now, we'll check out this clip because, like I said, I've seen this clip, going around on the internet. And let's check this out.
From Washington to the Horn of Africa, a political attack has triggered an international flashpoint, with an unrecognized state offering to extradite a sitting U.S. Congresswoman. Now, the self-declared Republic of Somaliland says it would accept the extradition of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar if the United States ever requests it. Now, in a post on X, Somaliland struck a mocking tone, suggesting that any deportation would simply mean sending Omar back to her kingdom, and signaling that it would be ready to act if asked.
Wow.
And that's not it. The official account also endorsed a series of posts on X aimed at mocking and disrespecting the U.S. Congresswoman. So how did it get here? It started in Washington with an accusation from U.S. Vice President JD Vance. In a podcast interview, Vance alleged that Omar has committed immigration fraud, and his legal team is now exploring options to build a case.
We think Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually build a case necessary to get some justice for the American people?
Omar's office has strongly rejected the claims, calling them a ridiculous lie and a political distraction.
She called everything a lie. She always the one telling the truth. Ilhan Omar, no matter what you say about it, she gonna say you lying. Like, this woman is a full-blown liar. And now you got a small African, they say, hey, all President Trump them got to do is say the word, extradite them to them, and they'll take her right off our hands. That's what I want.
from falling poll numbers and rising gas prices. This isn't just a war of words, as this new controversy is backed by a federal action. Earlier this month, Donald Trump raised the stakes by signing an executive order to set up a federal fraud task force. Trump specifically targeted Minnesota, claiming that a $19 billion fraud had occurred in the state.
When you look at the Minnesota scam, a lot of it has to do with Somaliland. Complicit, I believe Ilhan Omar is, she married her brother supposedly. I mean, there's a lot of documentation. That means she's here illegally and she's a congresswoman because she's one of the ringleaders here. She's bad news, really bad news. She's so bad for our country.
But as things stand, there are no criminal charges against Omar. The fraud claims remain unproven, and the extradition talk doesn't hold up, as the United States does not recognize Somaliland as a sovereign state, which declared its independence in 1991. As of right now, Israel is the only country to recognize Somaliland as an independent state. So any legal process would have to go through Somalia and not Somaliland. There's also no politics. The politics about Omar being born in Somalia and has opposed Somaliland's independence while supporting Somalia's territorial claims instead. Analysts say that by offering extradition, Somaliland is reportedly setting a political score on the global stage. Somaliland has long pushed for international recognition, and moves like this can immediately put the breakaway region in the spotlight. So despite the high-stakes rhetoric, the option of extradition is currently non-existent, as there are no charges, no treaty, and no legal pathway. But the politics behind it have already gone global, an unrecognized state inserting itself into a U.S. political fight.
Ilhan Omar is done. So, of course, like I said, you're going to get people that's going to try to save her and stuff like that. Look at this. An African nation, and you got the hunter right here said, let's go. An African nation. Let me make sure y'all can see this. An African nation just told the U.S. straight up, say the word on extradite Ilhan Omar after her latest fraud claims. The pirate queen who scammed America, married her brother, and funneled money to terrorists might finally be sent packing. Now you can see right here, African nation tells the United States, say the word on extraditing Omar after fraud claims, and we would take her right off y'all hands. We'll take her. So like I said, she's been lashing out ever since JD Vance said what he said. She just been lashing out. And this is what she said. This is what she do. She continues to keep slandering America. She does this all the time. I told y'all this in the last video. And this is just what she said a couple days ago.
I came to this country as a refugee. To me, America was a beacon of hope. A place where freedom wasn't just a word, but it was a promise. I arrived here when I was 12 years old. I could have never imagined the day would come when we were staring down at this kind of creeping authoritarianism.
Authoritarianism. This is what she say. Authoritarianism. And like I said, this is just what this woman think about the United States of America. You remember what she said before, how stupid Americans are because they voted for President Trump. She's been saying this for the longest. And then they had this No Kings protest where they was up slandering Donald Trump again. You got Tim Walz that was talking crap about Donald Trump.
I could have never imagined the day would come when we were staring down at this kind of creeping authoritarianism in the United States of America.
And this is what she continues to say over and over and over again. And like I said before, the reason why she got mad because of this, JD Vance confirms the White House is going after Ilhan Omar for committing immigration fraud. Hell yes, denaturalize her, deport her back to Somalia.
About Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. Exactly. And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people. There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community.
Yep.
So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if
that's the thing, we know Ilhan Omar, see, she knew she can get away with it because you got Jacob Frey, the mayor, like I said, the mayor. He ain't going to do anything about it. He just another Trump hater. You got Tim Walz, another Trump hater. You got Ilhan Omar, another Trump hater. They ain't going to tell on each other. But remember, Tim Walz's own employee said years ago that they told him about these frauds and stuff that was going on that they seen, and that Tim Walz told them to shut up or he was going to fire them. So that they kept getting threats from Tim Walz because he wanted them to keep quiet. So, of course, Ilhan Omar knew about the Leering Center. She knew about that. Just like she knew about that restaurant, that Feed Our Children thing that they had going on, that the owner of that restaurant is in jail now and admitted in court that it was a fraud, that he was frauding and stealing money, and Ilhan Omar was working for him. So you telling me Ilhan Omar was working for him and didn't know? Oh, she knew. And that's the reason why her net worth right now is up more than $30 million because of that. She knew about everything that's going on in Minnesota, and that's the reason why she continued to say, we are Minnesotans. We love Minnesota. I bet you do love Minnesota. She always say, we ain't going nowhere. I'm not leaving Minnesota. You know why she say that? Because that's where she's stealing money at. And she know Jacob Frey, Tim Walz, Democrats ain't going to do anything about it. She's going to continue to steal, and the Somalis going to continue to steal in Minnesota. She knows that. That's the reason why she always hollering, I'm not going anywhere.
People can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out. That's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about, what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
She knew about it. I can tell you now, she knew about it. Look at it. Ilhan Omar at the No Kings flagship rally in Minneapolis accuses Trump of floating an illegal takeover of places like Cuba and Greenland like it is some kind of real estate deal, and rattles off on Iran, Venezuela, and Ecuador as proof of some global war footing. I told you, this woman just gets on camera and just say anything, all because she hate this man. She would just get on camera and just tell lies. And this is the reason why I showed y'all the video yesterday of, I think this woman was 74 years old, and she was just crying because she's been believing the Democrats. She's been listening to Ilhan Omar, the mainstream media, feed them all them lies about President Trump.
Of places like Cuba and Greenland like it is some kind of a real estate deal. And under the so-called anti-war president, we have now seen the launching of military operations in Iran, in Venezuela, and in Ecuador.
Oh my God, this woman is just pitiful. But this is what she be doing, y'all. She be spraying Raid under her arms. This is where she sprayed under her arms right before she went to that No Kings rally. She sprayed some Raid under her arms because we all know she bugging. So like I said, she sprayed Raid under her arm because she's bugging. She's bugging out. So anytime I show y'all this, it's because this woman start bugging out. And when she start bugging out, she spray up under her arms with Raid. That's what she do. So if we check this out right here, it say the Republic of Somaliland. This is the people that said that they'll take Ilhan Omar right off President Trump's in the United States of America's hand. All President Trump got to do is say the word and they will get her. They said they ready for her. Receipts. Ilhan Omar's original last name was Elmi before it was changed. This evidence was available, but the Obama Justice Department refused to investigate. Of course, they wasn't going to do it. Her brother Ahmad Nurse said Elmi and their father Nurse said Elmi, also known as Nur Omar, used multiple names across different countries. Part of the family fled to the United Kingdom while Ilhan Omar and others entered the United States under their father's assumed name Omar. These name changes and split identity were used to conceal the father's true war crimes and identity. Marriage details: groom Ahmad Nurse Elmi, bride Ilhan Abdullah Omar, real name Ilhan Elmi is what her real name really is. And you can see this where she married her brother. You see her brother name on there, her name on there, but she keeps saying she never married her brother. So she just, like I said, she continues to tell lies. Here it is, Ilhan Abdullah Omar marriage license to her brother. This needs to be exposed. Please echo, this is important. February 12th of 2009. This is right here where she married her brother to help him get into the country, but yet you listen to her, she'll say she never said it. This is what she'll say. She'll be like, I never said that. It's just ridiculous how this woman continues to just lie to the American people over and over and over again. Here go Republic of Somaliland again. They say this is a Facebook post by her father, called Nurse Elmi, who participated in the Isaac genocide. Many of his family and friends refer to him as Nurse, the real family name, not Omar, and is Commandante or Colonel. So her full name is Ilhan Nurse Elmi, same as her father, not Omar. So where the hell did Omar come from? So like I said, this woman is a liar, and she's been doing it for the longest, and this is her father right here. Look at it. Albert Nurse said. Adair North said. So that's really her last name. So she just gave herself that Omar so she can get into the country. So her whole life is just a fraud, man. So hopefully something be done about it. It definitely need to be something done about it so stuff like this don't happen no more. Now, last clip I want to show y'all is that it said he responded to deported Ilhan Omar, saying that half the people in the Appalachian mountains should be deported. This is a stereotype versus DNA evidence and culture norm in Somalia. Deport Ilhan Omar if that's even her real name. No Kings by Chuck Schumer. So, of course, you're going to have people trying to take up for Ilhan Omar, but this reporter was not having it.
Oh, I was saying to deport Ilhan.
Because you think that she married her brother?
Yeah. There's DNA evidence.
And that's the basis? Because we'd have to deport like half of Appalachia for that, wouldn't we?
No, I've been to Appalachia. That's not true.
But it is true about Omar? How do you know that?
Because there's DNA evidence.
Oh, really? Where'd you get that?
Yeah, from this lawsuit where they went and collected some of her discarded items, like a cigarette, a Coca-Cola can, a hair. It's documented, though.
By who?
And the vice president just confirmed it as well.
The vice president is an idiot.
I'm sorry.
Is it true about him and the county?
Oh, look at him. The vice president is an idiot. It's just so crazy that, man, a lot of these people just get tricked by Ilhan Omar, Hakeem Jeffries, that dollar store Barack Obama, old Chuck Schumer, who put cheese on top of raw meat. And they just listen to them, man, and they just run with it. This is crazy.
I mean, there's various things that she's done that would be deportable offenses.
And so you felt like you needed to come to this march to talk about that?
Yeah, because like no Kings, like it's so messed up that they're in Congress and that they just stay there forever and make millions and millions of dollars while having no skills.
And what about Trump and the pedophilia and Epstein? Do you believe that?
Oh my God.
Donald Trump was not in the Epstein files. Donald Trump hated Jeffrey Epstein. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He exposed him long before any Democrats did.
How do you believe it? Look at the guy. Come on.
Look at
every time she like tell him something. How do you believe it? How do you know? Hell, how do you know what you saying? Because you know what you saying is a lie. And she's telling the truth.
Old videos of him calling.
You can tell he been listening to Democrats. I'm telling you, you can just read a person and tell when they just use the Democrats talking points and just go along with it. And that stuff is dangerous, man.
Now Jeffrey Epstein.
I have.
And the Clintons.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you think about the Clintons' connection to it?
To Epstein?
Okay, well, it sounds like you support marrying, you support incest, I guess, and you support fraud.
No,
and
I support truth, and I just don't believe
well, that's the truth,
you
and I'm sorry.
truth.
And if you don't like it, that's just the way it is.
Perhaps we should both do some more research.
What?
Perhaps we should both do more research.
Yeah.
Salute to her. Salute to her.
Vowing to coordinate between all branches to end this nonsense is the new plan. Vance sat down for an interview with Benny Johnson, spoke about Somali fraud, spoke about the queen of the Somali fraudsters, our friend Ilhan Omar. Take a listen.
Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. She has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community.
Yeah, she married her brother to get him in, which means they both should go back. Benny Johnson is with us now. Good to have you. Good to see you again. Everywhere that gets investigated, they find billions of our dollars stolen. Nobody cares, and it's so infuriating. What did you witness today?
Yeah, I witnessed something that made my blood boil as an American taxpayer, that we are not too far away from this entire country just going completely over a cliff, Rob. And it sucks because I have kids here and I want to stay in America. I want to raise my kids as Americans. But if you bring in people who are not harmonious with Western civilization and a high trust society, and then you give them the opportunity to simply write their name on a slip of paper and lie to the federal government, which is what Stephen Miller talked about today, and they can just lie about how many kids they have, what diseases their kids have, and there's no way to check. The federal government doesn't check. They just write a blank check to those states. And so that's how the Somali community gets away with it. And J.D. Vance revealed to me today in our 35-minute sit-down interview that there is no investigation of any fraud under $1.5 million. So you just might as well stroke. Boom, a $1.5 million check to anybody who wants to lie to the federal government. What kind of a message are you sending to our nation? I just want to thank you for playing that clip, by the way, about Ilhan Omar. That's the first time on the record that we have absolute and total confirmation that Ilhan Omar did, in fact, commit immigration fraud. And I looked this up right before coming on your show, that lying on your immigration forms or committing fraud against the United States of America is an immediate denaturalization offense. It is something that has been tried in court. It happens actually quite regularly where people lie to get into this country. They're denaturalized. They're sent home. It's something that must happen with Ilhan Omar. The rest of the clip, J.D. Vance says we're exploring this right now. But Stephen Miller has all of the available evidence, and I checked with DHS. This is 100% true. Ilhan Omar committed immigration fraud to get into America and to loot our nation dry. And it is time that she suffer the consequences.
Get her out. Get her out. It's amazing. I don't have a lot of time, but and the Azerbaijani guy that stole $90 million from the government. Can you imagine that one person is able to steal $90 million from our government? It is mind-boggling how little the people that run this country care about the money that they steal from us.
Yeah, it is mind-boggling. I would encourage you to go and watch the full J.D. Vance interview. It's up on my YouTube account right now, at Benny Johnson. You'll find J.D. Vance saying that UFOs are actually demons and explaining the Christian theology of what UFOs and aliens actually are. He says he's going to take his top secret security clearance and head on down to Area 51, New Mexico, and Hangar 8 in Ohio and get the truth about the UFO. Very interesting stuff. He has messages for Joe Rogan and Jimmy Kimmel. It was a wild interview. The Vice President was certainly on fire today. He was cooking.
We will certainly watch that one. Benny Johnson, good to see you. Thanks so much.
So like I said, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, I will keep y'all up to date. But now, boy, you got this African family in Somalia. I guess it's a town or something like that. But they saying, hey, President Trump, all you got to do is say the word, extradite her to us, and we'll take her. We'll take her right off y'all fingertips. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Like I said, once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.